Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. So, yes, I think there's something to talk about, but I'm kind of silent right now. I'm not like sleepy. We slept like an hour early, but this morning I had to take another route here, so we spent like an extra 5 to 10 minutes just driving. It was alright. At least I got the data. Well, not data. At least I got some kind of vision from my own eyes, but didn't really get any kind of data down. That's right. There's not much to talk about, honestly. The only thing is that this treadmill's button doesn't work. Also, I guess an update on Ascended's being a bit annoying recently, mainly because it's bugged out. It's bugged out like 3 times. So unfortunately, I've had to cheat a tiny bit in Extinction just so I can get everything back. So yeah, my father made. No, what did I just say? Shit. No, sorry. No. Wait, hold on. I'll stream me. Let me rephrase that now after the little pause. Sorry, I don't even know what I made that mistake of saying the wrong name. Okay, what I meant to say was that the fish I caught yesterday had. Wait, I didn't even catch a fish yesterday. What am I dreaming about then? Okay, so yesterday in the dreams, I dreamed about catching some kind of snapper, and we gutted it, and then yeah, but I never caught a snapper, so I guess that's all just been fabricated in my mind. It's all good. So it is what it is. You're gonna have to wait for this thing to get frozen there for you're gonna have to wait until things frozen before you can even cut it. Okay. Well, in the meantime, I gotta target these zenyatas because they're in the open, doing nothing. Oh yeah, it was nearly done an hour first. Or an hour. Hold on, there's nothing else to say right now except just living work. Just work. Is there anything to talk about? Alright, so I think we're awake now. Is there much to say? Not really. I think we're on 3 5s now. Yeah. Yeah, are we? Yeah. So 3 5s and in a cave, but there's nothing there to say, right? I just received the quote, curiosity kills cats. Oh yeah, that makes sense, obviously. Alright, now we're on 4 5s. Is there anything else to talk about? Well, the only thing to talk about is that in our ascended world, had to do some magic, a lot of magic, to get my stuff back because of the weird glitch and crashes and stuff like that. There's nothing else to say. So yeah, it's basically that's kind of all there is to say, right? And ascended, did some magic and had to fix it. Oh, we had a lot of good games yesterday in Overwatch. A lot of good games. Pretty good. We could probably do it again today. All right, let's do some architecture. We didn't do hunting and fishing yesterday, but we did everything I kind of wanted to do. Right? We did some ascended. Sure, it was a bit glitchy and annoying, but I think I fixed it. But also got the Overwatch as well. But besides that, that's what we did yesterday, and it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty chill. Except carrying an Overwatch is sometimes draining. No, it's tiresome. Ah, there's nothing to say. There really is nothing to say, man. I was like, yeah, and in Overwatch we did good, right? Carried as DPS, carried as support, and then in Geno Crisis. I think I'll try episode 5 again. Episode 6. And then I'm gonna have to check other stuff, right? That's about it. Check you as well, yeah. There's nothing to talk about. We literally slept 1 hour early as well. It's kind of insane. I might go start trying to set up the other segment, the lower chest part, the cables and stuff. I'm probably gonna go try to set that up after this next set. Let me go set up the next thing while we wait. Gonna have to go find matching things. Alright, I found the matching, yeah, got them. Yep, so today's gonna be a story video. Just nothing to talk about, right? I thought I grabbed the matching. Crap, I thought I grabbed the matching gear. I didn't. I swear it looked like it was a matching gear. So yeah, there's just nothing to say, right? Don't know, man. Oh, and we gotta go finish the water as well. And also check the weight. I think I checked the weight yesterday as well. I did. We are eating less rice. Alright, let's do the last part and then that's really about it. Again, there's just nothing to talk about, you know? I already talked about our ascendant journey. Had a little bit of glitches, but I think it was fine today. And when it comes to Overwatch, we're chilling too, so there's nothing really, ain't much, ain't much to really comment on. Alright, what is done? Yeah, so what else is there? And these aren't actually even. This one's a lot tighter tension. This one's like slightly, no, it's not even even. Oh well, try to get even as possible, but it's not fully even. I should have put a efficiency on this instead. Oh well. So what's today's plan? Well, today's plan's pretty simple, right? This Alpha Theory regime, food part one, editing, food or dips and pull-ups, and then food part two, and then probably gonna maybe do more Overwatch today because there's only like 1 day left of drive. I think I just want to get the competitive points. We're like two wins away from getting the next checkpoint. I'm probably not gonna grind until the last checkpoint. Seems like a bit too much, but yeah. And then what else is there? Maybe do some ascendant today as well. I'll see how it goes. If it glitches, I'm gonna stop it. But if it doesn't glitch, we should be fine. Trying to get that Philinosaur. Alright, let's go check our weight now, I guess. Might as well. Gotta wash your hands as well because everything's so dirty. 70.3. Very nice. Let me just quickly go wash my hands. So we're on like 4.5s now, I think. Yeah, we came here like 10 minutes late because I was actually, matter of fact, I was gonna go to a different route, but then I did a U-turn and came back over here because I knew I was not gonna make it. Is there anything else to say? Not really. Nah, there's just nothing to talk about today. There's nothing to talk about, man. It's kind of just our own ecosystem, right? You know, just follow your own ecosystem. That's about it. Is what it is. Our own ecosystem right now is kind of just chill. You know, everything's just compounding as usual. Assets compound, videos compound. The macro regime is working. Well, macro regime is, adjusted. Only thing that we need to really work on is just the sleep and the cardio in the morning. And that's kind of about it. The Overwatch content, good. Got lots of good content yesterday. Also got the Ascendant Geno Crisis working as well. Could even put a new series in as well if I think about something. But if the hold on, if the Ascendant keeps glitching out though, we might just have to go continue Geno Crisis on Evolved because yeah, you might just have to go Evolve instead. Again, haven't even done horror video in like a horror video game in a while. Those videos require the most energy. Well, no, not energy, but those require the most commentary, which I like. Honestly, if you think about it, technically, we have been playing a lot of horror video games. It's just we do it in a story form because actually, if you think about it, right, the horror games are basically just the exact same things as the stories, except instead of listening, you're playing, right? But if you think about it, right, my story videos on us reacting to horror stories pretty much is exactly like playing it instead. No, it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's just that instead of playing the character, we judge the story. But if we play horror video games, we're still judging the story in the end of like at the same time. So yeah, it's literally the same thing, almost. Except of course, horror games have got jump scares and stuff. It depends. It really depends. There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say. Ecosystems, ecosystem. I get it. Ecosystems, ecosystems. You know, you work in your own ecosystem and you're good to go, right? That's about it. See what happens. See what happens. Alright, that's about it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically about it for today. I think the only thing we need to work on in these vlogs is pretty much just sleeping even earlier. Either sleep earlier and try to do more cardio. Yeah, gotta work on that. We already slept 1 hour earlier today as well. Oh well. But see you guys next time, right? Appreciate it.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again. We're gonna continue the rest of the stories. Right. This morning I didn't even remember what I said, but anyways, lock in. Right. So story 3 by Ashley. Let's go.
Work overnight stocking shifts at a local grocery store in my small, unassuming town. I think only 2,000 people lived around there. The reason I applied to work at this grocery store was because all of my friends work there too. However, the only position available was overnight. I still took it because I needed a job, but I wasn't happy to find out I'd mostly be working with older guys that I'd never met before. In particular, 90% of my shifts I worked alongside a guy named Devin. He was an average height, skinny man in his late 20s, with heavy, dark circles under his eyes as if he'd walk in every night on no sleep. He talked softly and without much tone, but for the first several weeks after training, we both mainly did our own thing, working on opposite sides of the store. It was in the middle of my second month working there that things started to get strange. This night, I clocked out at 4 a.m. after my shift and started driving home. It was only a 15-minute drive, but halfway through it, I noticed a dark black truck behind me. Didn't think anything of it until 5 minutes later, I pulled into my neighborhood and realized he was still behind me. However, when I did eventually pull into my driveway, the truck continued down the road.
Hmm. If you're a female and you're driving home and you notice headlights following you, there's nothing wrong with just like doing a loop. One easy strategy is just pull over on the side and then wait for them to pass and then pull back behind him. That's what. That's like the easiest thing to do. You know. if you suspect someone following you, there's nothing wrong with just pulling over to the side, let them pass, and then just rear into like straight behind him. I do that sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's super easy. You just quickly signal left, let them pass you, right, and you just instantly pull out right behind them. Done. Even better if there's more cars in front, and if there's more cars, right, gives you more distance. You know what I mean? Even better. So yeah, especially if you're a female at nighttime, if you notice headlights following you, you might maybe pull over to the side just in case. You never know.
road, so I forgot about it and went inside. I
But to be fair,
showered
sometimes you don't even notice if someone's following you or not. Just depends, right?
and stayed up in bed watching TV for an hour. When I did feel ready to sleep, I went over to the window to shut the blinds, but I noticed someone was parked outside of my house. A dark black pickup truck. I couldn't tell if anyone was in it, and it looked like it wasn't running. Surely it had to be a coincidence and was just a neighbor. I also technically lived in a townhouse, so there were plenty of cars and neighbors that I didn't necessarily recognize. I shut the blinds and went to bed. When I woke up hours later, the first thing I did was check out the window, and I didn't see the truck anywhere. The rest of that day/evening was normal. Even after a month, I hadn't fully adjusted to the overnights, so between shifts, I would mainly just loaf around the house and watch TV. When it came time, I got ready and headed to work at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. till. Okay.
Something to mention is that I always got there a couple minutes early, while Devin always showed up late and left a few minutes early. It was never an issue, but I just never really saw Devin come or go. Anyway, I headed in like usual and got to work. A whole hour went by as I stalked the shelves in the quiet, empty store, when I suddenly got startled, seeing Devin standing at the end of the aisle. Once I saw him, he started walking up to me, but it was weird that he was just standing still. I had no idea how long he was there for, watching me. I also didn't have a clue what he wanted, as he almost never talks to me. And oddly, it felt like he didn't really know what he wanted either. He gave this awkward smile and said hi, then started some small talk about how I was liking the job. He looked tired as ever, and the look in his eyes was making me uncomfortable. The whole conversation really was uncomfortable. It was so out of nowhere and didn't really have any substance to it. After a couple of minutes, he finally did walk away and go back to work. I didn't really know what to make of it, so I just kept working.
Hey, coworker, what you doing? What do you want? How's the weather? No, like, what do you want? You need anything? What do you need? What do you want? Stock shelf? Okay, bet. What else? Is there everything you need? So how's the weather today? What? What do you want? You don't want anything? Okay, you can go. I ain't trying to have small talk either. What's there to talk about anyways? The weather? Weather's rainy. I could do small talk if I want.
That night came and went, and another week went by.
Another week.
But throughout all of my shifts, Devin got increasingly more creepy. I'd catch him staring at me from across the store multiple times a night, and he started to come up to me frequently to talk about whatever. Often these chats would end with him having nothing else to say and just staring at me, or hovering over my shoulder as I got back to work. And then, one night, after a very uncomfortable shift, I decided to clock out a bit early while Devin was in the back room still. I really just wanted to get out of there. I walked out of the building into the dark, poorly lit parking lot. It was entirely empty aside from my car in the far back, and a single other car parked a few spots away from mine.
Let me guess, the black truck.
Black pickup truck. I felt everything in my body tighten up.
Well, how do you not know what he drives after working with him for so long? You would notice, no? just small things like that, no? Like, you've been working there for a decent amount of time, right? Surely you would know what car your coworkers drive, no? Just, yeah.
That had to be Devin's truck. There was no one else's it could have been. And this was the first time since working there that I'd left before him and actually seen what he drove. I quickly got into my car and left. I tried to reason with myself that there probably were tons of black pickup trucks in this town, and that all of this was just a massive coincidence. There was no way I was followed home last week by anyone, including Devin. When I got home, I locked the doors and stayed by my window for a while. The truck never showed up. That whole day, I remained uneasy, checking outside a lot and trying to make sense of everything. I had no way to connect everything definitively, which of course allowed me to keep reasoning with myself that I was overreacting and overthinking. I managed to get a little bit of sleep, but my next shift came around quicker than I would have liked. I was tired, both from not sleeping and from all of these uncomfortable shifts from the past week. Oddly, when I pulled into the parking lot, Devin's black pickup truck was already there, early for once. I parked and hurried inside, clocking in and started working. I didn't see Devin inside though, or any of his things in the back room. And only a few minutes later, I got a text I wasn't expecting at all from the store manager. He said Devin had called off tonight. I immediately ran to the front of the store. The truck was gone. What the hell was happening? I waited there for
Probably had to go take a crap. Hey, boss. Hey, boss. Hey, I can't work. Gotta go take a shit. Yeah. Alright, bye. I wouldn't. You don't know what happened. Maybe his parents got in a car crash. Okay, you know. Some boy died. You know, just had to leave. Like, sure, he came early. Sure, he came to work early, but he had to go. Probably had to take a crap. Can't really assume much from that one. I don't know. Can't do much about that.
15 minutes, still completely confused. But after waiting for a while, I had to get back to work. I was on edge all night, half expecting to see Devin appear at the end of the aisle with that creepy look he always had. But he never did. At 3 a.m., I decided to clock out an hour early, which was definitely grounds for getting written up, but I didn't care at that point.
Wait, so
just
I don't
wanted-
even know what kind of store this is. Like, what do you mean you can clock out? Also, that job sounds kind of chill, right? It sounds like you barely do any work. The night shift sounds easy, no? No customers. You're basically a janitor security guard. Honestly, you're basically just a janitor and security guard at that point. Clean up the shop, restock the stuff. You're basically a security guard. Let's be honest, you're basically a security guard. Night shift is basically security guard, alright? You're not dealing with any customers. You're barely dealing with customers. You're basically just a security guard at this point. Just making sure nobody's stealing.
to get out of there. I checked the windows before leaving, and the parking lot was empty. It was just my car. I hurried and got in.
Wait, so who's taking care of the shop then? What kind of shop even is this, anyways? It's like a supermarket?
I used to work overnight stocking shifts at a local grocery store in my small,
A grocery store. 24-hour grocery store. Okay.
Devin's truck. There was no one else's it could have been. And this was the first. There was no way I was followed home last week by any word lot in my life. But my next shift was gone. All night. Creepy look he always had. But I checked the car. I hurried and got in, finally starting to drive and feeling relief. I really just wanted to be away from there. All of this stuff going on and being so on edge my whole shift, and really the entire week. I was exhausted and tired. The drive home on the empty, quiet roads made me even more tired as well.
Real.
The neighborhood was just as quiet when I pulled in and got home. No cars were parked on the road near my house. I parked in the driveway and went in through the front door, taking off my shoes and starting to head upstairs, eyes barely able to stay open. But in some sort of delayed reaction, as I walked up the steps, I realized something was off when I walked into the house. The front hallway light wasn't on, and the house was completely dark. I always left that light on, just sort of a habit I've always had. I was so tired I didn't even notice for a minute just how dark it was. I didn't jump to any conclusions, and honestly was too tired to even think much about it as I slowly walked back down the steps. I stood there, looking down the dark hallway for a second before flicking the light on. It turned on no problem. I turned it back off and back on again, kind of trying to figure out how it could have just gone off the way it did.
Must have been the wind.
And suddenly, as I was standing there, heavy footsteps ran through the back of the house and straight out the back door.
What?
I was frozen for a whole 15 seconds, terrified. I didn't even try looking over there. I just quickly ran upstairs and called the police. It stayed quiet for the few minutes that I waited. Whoever that was had fully left the area, and the police couldn't do much. Obviously, I was pretty sure that this likely was Devin. I told them how sure I was of it, but the police never really came back with any follow-ups.
Yeah, can't do much about that.
Probably because I had no evidence to back up my claims. The thing is, over the last month, each individual occurrence and strange thing could have been written off as a coincidence.
Maybe.
But altogether, it painted a clear picture of what was going on. I even think me leaving work an hour early might have caught him off guard, not ready yet for me to come home, and possibly getting him to panic and leave. I don't know what he would have done though. To wrap it all up, the following day I called the manager to let him know I was quitting, and he was pretty upset because he had also gotten a call that morning from Devin that he was quitting. At that point, it wasn't even a coincidence. It was just proof to me of everything adding up. After that, though, I never saw him or his truck near my house stalking me. Seemed like as soon as he knew I was onto him, he disappeared. Hopefully for good.
Why are you living alone as a female? Security cameras, door lock. You living alone, no friends, no family. What do you do all day? Go to work night shift 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. and you just go to sleep and then watch TV until the next shift. Your choice, I guess. What? I don't even know what you can do in that last story, honestly. What can you do in that story, huh? It's like it is what it is, right? You know? It is what it is. If someone wanted to get you, they'd get you. You know? Yeah, security cameras, door lock. But I mean, if someone really wanted to get you, they'll get you. Like, even if security cameras and door locks, if they get into your house, they get into your house. They can get you whenever they want. And yeah, that's kind of about it. I don't know what you can do in that situation, honestly. I guess since if you're a female, don't live alone and don't live with your parent. No, and live with your parent. I don't know. Story's kind of boring though. You know. How do you know if that's real or not? You know. Let's read the comments, shall we? Story 1. Person should have called the ticks while the cops were there. If Stalker was outside, the phone would have lit up and maybe rang. What? Why would you do that? Unnaturally wild smile. Pale, long dark hair. No relevant comments. Nah, these stalker stories aren't even that good. Like, stalking for what though? That's kind of the main goal, right? What are you stalking for? You know? You gotta have a reason to stalk. What's the reason? What was your intentions? You know? The second story is what it is. Third story is what it is. First story, uh, first story, it is what it is. Kind of. I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it's yeah, stalkers are kind of just it is what it is, right? Like, there's only so much you can prevent, but same for killers, same for everything, right? Like, if someone wanted to get you, they get you. It's pretty easy. I already told you guys that many times, right? If someone wanted to get you, they would get you, and it's pretty easy to get someone if you really want to get them. You know, if you really wanted someone dead, and you don't care about anything else, but you really want someone dead, easy. If you really and like it is what it is at the same time because like just in like normal life, right? If you're driving a car to wherever you go, literally someone can just ram into you and you're dead. Maybe your car just explodes, or maybe a meteor comes down and hits you. Is what it is, right? Best of planners, you know. So yeah, when it comes to stalkers, you can only prevent yourself from so much, right? But again, even if you have maximum security, people can stalk you. It's pretty crazy, right, ladies and gentlemen? I'll see you guys next time. Right? Pretty boring, but gonna go to Ascended now. Lock in.